Welcome, everyone. I'm really delighted to have you all here. Welcome to our 2024 Neuro BCI Whole Brain Emulation for Safe AI workshop. It's such a mouthful. It's a very long German word. I want to tell you a little bit about why we're doing this, and then a little bit what we're doing, and then we're going to launch right into the workshop. And I'm sure that those of you who here has been to a Foresight workshop or event before? Okay, so it's quite intense. It's quite packed, and so take the others by the hand. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next 2 days or so. Okay, so a little bit about Foresight. Foresight is a nonprofit that was founded in 1986. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was founded in 1986 to support the beneficial development of science and technology that is perhaps too undervalued by the mainstream. So it's too interdisciplinary, too ambitious. It's perhaps too niche, too sci-fi sounding. And we do so through grants, prizes, fellowships, workshops like these, seminars, you name it. And we have these different focus tracks that we're interested in. One is on molecular nanotechnology. That's the kind of vision that we're founded on. Then on biotechnology, where we focus mostly on longevity biotechnology. Neurotechnology, that's the track that you guys are in. Computation, where we had a workshop last week on cryptography, security, and AI. Space, and then existential hope. And existential hope is this banner under which we're wrapping all of these technologies towards positive futures. So in each of these tracks, as I mentioned, we have like various different programs going on, but in the Neurotech track, that has really kind of like emerged for us in the last like maybe 3 to 4 years. And so it's relatively new compared to the others, even though we've had like a long-standing interest in that field. But recently, especially with AI, it has just kicked up quite a bit. So we have this AI safety grant that we're giving, which has a really big neurotech component. And I'll say a little bit more about how we expand that in a second. But we have a few grantees here. We have lots of like people in the grant community here. So thank you so much if you're advising or if you have gotten a grant recently from us. We're really excited to hear your results in the next few days. We have the seminar program that Lydia just mentioned. So this is kind of our virtual layer where if people that are not in the Bay Area want to stay connected throughout the entire year and have a little bit more of an update on like what other people in this community are doing, that is what the seminar layer is for. So you will get an invite to join the seminars if you're interested in presenting your work longer than 7 minutes, which is the talk length of today. You're really, really welcome to. And it's also a good layer for afterwards project development to happen. Not all of them are recorded. We're really happy to host you whenever you want to collaborate and happy to facilitate that. I also want to welcome our fellows. We have a few fellows in our Neurotech track here. We have these fellowships across different areas. So thank you so much for coming. It really, really means a lot. You are doing exceptional work, and we're so honored to have you guys. Yeah, and then finally, like, how did this workshop come about? Well, we had always been wanting to do a really like a kind of deep dive into whole brain emulations, because since the original roadmap in 2008 or 9, 2008, that Anders and Nick Bostrom kind of co-authored with a few people here, actually. There hasn't really been that much progress or like at least attention on that domain. And Anders and I have been chatting about this for a while, and then finally, as AI timelines were coming down, we had the urgency that it required to do the first one of those last year. And again, if you are more interested in a little bit of context, many of you guys were already there. Many of you presented on various different approaches in that field, but it was still kind of nascent. It was like 30 people. Now we're already double, and we have a pretty long wait list for this one too. So it's been really, really encouraging, all the progress that has happened throughout even just 1 year, at least as far as like our community is concerned. Like obviously people have been making progress for a really, really long time, but I think really in the past 2 years it has really just very much kicked off. Okay, cool. So that brings us to today's workshop. And so we are probably going to do those on an annual basis now, just to check in on what people are doing in that space. Thank you so much for joining for this one. I think it's going to be quite the wild next few days, but I'm really, really excited about it. And so we have a few goals that I want to kind of that I want to get into your brains while they're still fresh. If you want to open the collaborative workshop program, now is a great time to do so. There'll be a lot of note-taking, and I'll briefly walk you through a little bit of what you can expect from today. So if you don't know where this document is, it is this link, foresight.pub/neuroprogram, that links you directly to this collaborative program. now is a great time to open it, because in a second we're going to do the first note-taking and collab session. All right, cool. Okay, now to today's workshop. We have a few goals that we're hoping to achieve with you over the next few days. First one is we want to establish common knowledge about neurotech, brain-computer interface, and whole brain emulation approaches for safe AI paths. So there's a bunch of different questions that people have. There's a bunch of different ways in which this field could be beneficial, in which it could be possibly have some new risks. We want to get that all out on the table and just establish some common knowledge on what you guys are all working on and like why it matters and what are possible risks and challenges. Second goal is that we want to generate and compare promising approaches on impact, feasibility, benefits, and risks. So I think that will be like a later session today where you really kind of go into different working groups and to really like figure out one path. What are the different risks about it, and what are the different benefits? How do they compare in respect to AI safety? And then finally, we want to explore how this community can help progress through new R&D mechanisms. And so that would be this session tomorrow, where we're going to have like a catch-all session. I'm also really, really excited to share that project funding will be available if you apply for it after the workshop. And so we're launching a new grants round that is focused on specifically neurotech for safe AI. So we're like really like honing in on that. And it's a fast grants round that is in partnership with Juan and Protocol Lab. Thank you so much for really chipping in here. I think you guys have been like an absolute limelight in many different communities, and I'm really excited for the progress that we can make together in that space. Neve, do you want to share a few more words about it?
So we have two new projects to share with you, which is pretty cool. One is a FAST grants endowment that we've been working on. It's not ready yet. It's a special project, I guess, because it's not live. But yeah, so what we're hoping to do is to stimulate this industry. So the minimum of the endowment needs to be 20 million. We've so far raised 7.5 million, so I'm pretty stoked with that. Last night might have found a potential lead for a matchmaker, which is great, but that still leaves 5 million. So please talk to me in the next couple of days if you have any ideas for that. The idea behind it is that we can then give out fast grants to help you with whole brain emulation. And then obviously once whole brain emulation is reached, we can have a big, juicy grand prize. So it's pretty big. It's a pretty big deal. We've been working very hard on this. And then do you want to share more about the prize? Or we've also got a lo-fi whole brain emulation mouse brain prize, which you will also be helping us work on tomorrow, which is a really big deal. And it will, it's $1 million. So, I mean, that's a lot of money. So let's get to it. It's very important.
Yeah. Please talk to Neve if you're interested in learning more about the grants. We would love your brainpower on defining the lo-fi price as well a little bit more. I'll share a little bit more about that in tomorrow's session. But now we will get to what we're going to do in the next few days. So you have all the important links that you could possibly need here on the event page. And so you can put faces to the names on this link. You have the participant intro doc, where many of you have introduced yourselves already. You have this collaborative program is always linked from the top. You have the Signal group, which many of you, maybe most, are already in there. And then the password over here. I do want to say that for most of the event, it's Chatham House rule. So please don't attach anything that is said to an individual. You are allowed to share broad ideas. The presentations will be recorded by default, but definitely not all of them are. And yeah, please take this as your space of like fruitful collaboration, like have really fruitful debates. It's like 3 kind of different fields that are like pretty interdisciplinary, but there's also like, yeah, still a lot of distillation to be done in terms of like, okay, what can we actually do? What is science fiction? And so like have these debates here. This is what this is about, right? And you can disagree with each other. Please do so politely, but that's what this workshop is about. So let's get everything kind of like out in the open so we can talk about it. Okay, so day number 1. What we're going to do in a second is that we scope some workshop goals. And so what I've already done over the past few days, those of you who have filled in the participant introduction doc, I basically took a few bits that you mentioned here and grouped them according to rough areas of interest. Now, this is me doing this just as a default, because I think the best way to get your ideas is by me doing it poorly, and then you can all disagree with me. But the idea is that what we're going to do in a sec is you guys fill in which neurotechnology path for AI safety should we prioritize, and that will give us a rough clustering on the topics that people are really interested in diving deeper on. So we already have traditional whole brain emulation or connectomics, then more of a lo-fi whole brain emulation or ML and recording-driven approach, minimally invasive brain-machine interfaces, increasing human intelligence and cognitive enhancement, human-brain incorporation as anchors for AI alignment and explainability. If you want to open up a new bucket, you can do so here in a second, but let me just walk you through what we're going to do with this after. After we do this, for like about 5 minutes or so, we're going to have 3 rounds of presentations. They're really short. I'm German, and I will keep you to a German time. They're 7 minutes with 3 minutes Q&A, just to get a little bit more context and a few of the ideas here in the room. We're going to do this 3 times. So we have the first one, we take a break. We have the second one, we have lunch. We take a group photo. And then we have a third round of presentations in the afternoon. I have said that, if you want to also give another short talk, we want to hear from you. That session is filling up a lot. It's quite full. So we may move some of them into the evening talks and breakouts. But feel free to please continue adding stuff here. And this is what this workshop is about. It's like about open collaboration. We will then vote on a few paths that people are actually really interested in exploring more. And then in the afternoon, you go into different breakout groups. And so in those breakout groups, we have a variety of different questions on a template that we'd like you guys to consider. But it's basically about like, what is this path? What is this path about? What are the risks? What are the feasibility levels? And to just really hone in on one approach before we then tomorrow take it apart. And so tomorrow morning, we start off with brief presentations from different folks here in the group on the different paths that you were exploring. And then we're going to have like a comparison session. We're really like trying to like compare the different approaches on their risk, benefit, feasibility, impact, and so forth. And then we're going to have another breakout session on different meta questions. So if there's any questions about this workshop that you think we should absolutely address and we haven't yet, please put it in the session for tomorrow afternoon. I already put in that I want to talk about the newer grants and the price. So feel free to put anything like on your laundry list, like an important questions about ethics, about impact, anything that you have here in this quadrant, and we'll get to it tomorrow. We're going to have a closing. You can hang out, have dinner and drinks here, but it's going to be a pretty packed few days. Okay, great. Well, with that being said, is there any questions so far? Okay, good. Then you have about 5 minutes to fill in the document here. I've already done that for you a little bit, but it's really imperfect. And so if you want to add another neurotech path for safe AI that we should prioritize during this workshop, now is a great time to just get it out there in the open before we start presentations, and then we start like kind of like synthesizing a few of those. Okay, you have about 5 minutes. Also feel free to read those of others and leave comments on the doc very liberally. This is your guys' program. All right, thank you guys. That was a big outburst of work so early in the morning. Really appreciate it. Love to hear all the tippling. Okay, cool. Well, let's kick us off then with the first round of presentations. So we're going to have a few of them quite short. I'm going to give you a 1-minute warning. I'll be sitting there, and then at the 7-minute mark, I'll cut you off, and then we have 3 minutes Q&A from all of you guys. Does that sound good? Okay, cool. Then, without further ado, Juan, do you want to come up on stage and share a little bit more about your guys' approach